Hi everybody, Tina here with Two Chicks and a Cricket, and I wanted to share some of my scrapbooks with you guys. I've gotten some emails requesting that I share my scrapbooks, and so I've been trying to figure out a way to do this because they're big and bulky and it's been kind of difficult to try to figure out a way to record them onto video. So I'm just going to try this and see how it goes. I wanted to show you guys, some of you guys know if you're following my blog that we recently moved into this house. So right now most of my scrapbooks are up here in my office nook. They're all up on the shelf because I just don't have a very good place to store them right now, but I'm hoping that will change. The other thing that I do is I hope you guys don't get dizzy me walking around here with the camera, but I keep my scrapbooks that I'm working on out. I just store them right on top of my, this is my scrap paper storage. And it just works out well, the top of this. So this is Violet's first year album that I have 2 months left to finish. She just turned 2. I still haven't finished it, but I have 2 months left to finish in her album. And then I have our last year family album, our 2010 family album that needs like 6 months worth of stuff done to it. And then I have my Christmas album that I've been working on for this series on the blog. And so that's just a quick way for me to grab them. And I keep them out and I'm looking at them and, you know, they're hanging over my head that they need to be done. So this is my daughter, Kayla. This is her first year album. And I used to just get my albums at all random places. This particular album came from Mervyn's when Mervyn's was still around, and I got it for like $6.99. And Mervyn's was always a great place to find really cute albums, and they were always real cheap. So this is her first year album, and I usually, when I was doing this kind of album, the kind that the spine comes off and they're just the pages, you just slip them in. When I was doing these kinds of albums, I usually did 2 for each thing I was doing. So our family albums were always 2. I recently switched this last year, I did the 3-ring binder albums, and I'll show you those. So this was her first year album, and I always do a title page, and this title, usually with my title pages I just do like a song or a poem or something like that. This is one of my very first scrapbooks, and so it's not as fancy or as nice as I do now, but this was just the song by Martina McBride, In My Daughter's Eyes. I got my Cricut when my daughter Kayla was 5 months old. So all of her album is really, let's set this up because there's a glare, which is my problem. Like I can't figure out how to, then when I set them up, they're weird. They like slide. Okay, so with this album, I was really learning to use my Cricut and I wasn't real sure about it. So I try to put in my scrapbooks, I try to put in like little things like this. This is her wristband. I think maybe it might be my wristband that I had in the hospital. I just try to use that stuff instead of keeping it in a box. And then the other thing you guys know that I do if you follow the blog is I do calendars. So this is a calendar page, and I just put on here, you can see this was the month that she was born, and I just put like her first bath, her first doctor's appointment, and then it also kind of gives me a good reference for where pictures go, and I'm just like really OCD about organization. And when I started doing the calendars, it really helped me to be able to keep my scrapbooks organized and in place. Okay, so I guess we're just gonna try it this way. With Kayla's album, I was really learning a lot of new techniques. I was learning to chalk, and I was using my Cricut. I had got it when she was 5 months old, and I was starting to print things out on the computer. It was really, her first year album was really the album I learned to do a lot of different things in. And I didn't have very many Cricut cartridges because I had just got it, and I wasn't aware that eBay sells them. So I was still getting them in the store for like 40 bucks. So this is just another calendar page. I just printed it out on cardstock. And then I always, with my kids, she was 2 months old. And so this was her 2-month-old picture, because I always take a picture of them the first year of their life when they turn the next month old. And I had started using ribbon a lot more. And this was still when I scrapbooked. I would put a piece of pattern paper with a solid piece. And then I would use the solid color on the pattern piece and the pattern piece on the solid color. And that's really all I did. One of my favorite pages, we call Kayla Bug. And I just loved ladybugs with her. I loved this layout. It was of her little friend. They were born close together, and Madison was older than Kayla, and she was doing more, and she was grabbing Kayla's hand, and it was so cute. I took a picture of their little hand, and then I cut it out for the page. That was really cute. And you can see, like, I put the card on her page. And the other thing that I do often is I just make little things. Like, this was a page of her dedication, and I just made like a little dedication invitation type thing. Even though we didn't send those, it just has the date and where it was and who did it. And so it was just kind of a neat little element. And that was a 2-page layout, and again, there's a card in it. This was also the first time I scrap lifted something. This was in a magazine. This little layout was a Cricut advertisement, and I kind of scrap lifted it. I happened to have that cartridge, and I was like, I think I could recreate that. It's funny, I look back on these scrapbook pages and I feel not happy with them because I do so much more now than I did then. But it's just how I thought they were wonderful when I did them. I thought they were the greatest thing. And now I look at them and I feel like I want to redo them. I have a friend who I used to scrapbook with when we lived in Willits. And she, I think for 3 years, redid her son's first album. Every time she came over to scrapbook, she was redoing his album because she had learned to do something new or didn't like the way it came out. And I told her she was never going to get past that album if she kept doing that. I try to do about 6 months each in each album. So this is like January through June or July. It just happened to be that my daughter was born in January, so it made this album a little bit easy. then the other thing I do is I ask my husband to journal in on the pages that these pictures are, he was making her laugh, and so I asked him to journal her page, and he'll just write out whatever it is, and then I'll put it in on that particular page. He's done that a couple times. So these are just pages that didn't make it into her album for whatever reason. They were kind of funny pages that I did. They were kind of posed pictures that we kind of had done with her, and they just didn't, either I didn't finish them, so they didn't make it in the album, or whatever. They just didn't. So those I just had stuck. Probably not the best thing to do, but I just stuck them right there. And then, so that was the first half of her album. And then what I did is, because I didn't get 2 of these albums, what I did is I just got a pink album. So it would kind of go with it. And then I didn't do anything for the title of that page. So this for Kayla, I did her footprints at 6 months with white paint. I just did it on scrapbook paper. I did her footprints and her handprints, and then I journaled over her handprints for that. It's funny, I can tell on these when I got a new cartridge. Like, I can tell that's when I got the cartridge printing press. This was pictures of her as she got older. She crawled into my scrapbook room and was looking all through my paper. She was about 9 months old. So their first year album is more just about their milestones. We take a lot of pictures, different milestones that they hit, and I just like a place to record all that. This year, Kayla's 4 and Violet is 2, and I'm doing a sister album for them. This I used metal charms. And a little metal charm that says first tooth. This is one of my favorite layouts that I've ever done. I love the paper and just what I was capturing, and it was her in our front yard, and I put her in the leaves as they were changing. And then this, I did some pictures in black and white, and this picture I did in black and white, and then I left the leaves, a couple of the leaves I left in color, and I just love the way it turned out. Oops. And then I used a lot, I still had a lot of these kinds of stickers and stuff because I hadn't had my Cricut very long. Now I don't have very much of that stuff left because I mainly just use my Cricut. I had stuff that I was gonna cut out and put on here, and I still never have done that. It's so funny. Life gets busy. So that's Kayla's first year album. So I'll show you guys some more albums in a few days or when I get them recorded, okay? So thanks for stopping by the blog, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing my scrapbook albums.